they met the most dangerous radioactive zombies in the world.
What the hell?
Hello everyone, Kino Jack is in touch, and this is a short retelling of the 9th and 10th episodes of the zombie TV series Nation Z. You really like this project, so I keep churning out retellings of the next series without stopping. If you are new to our channel and missed the beginning of this amazing story, then I strongly recommend that you follow the links in the description and see how the apocalypse began. And as soon as this video gets thousands of likes, I release the following retelling. Enjoy watching. Mac and Edison are trying to catch up with the rest of the team with the help of Citizen Z, using a small beautiful montage to the music of Nancy Senators. There is some tension between them, partly from the establishments that Edison visits. In the end, she decides to tell Mac about it. This is an image of a dark place, a zombie and a man suspiciously similar to Mac. Mac tries to relieve the tension by telling her about his fantastic date with her, but Eddie spoils the mood by telling him that they will never work as a couple. They realize they've never been on a real date, and while Mac leaves to try to do it, Eddie falls asleep. Suddenly, Mac wakes up from Eddie's scream. When he rushes in search of her, he discovers a snake, corpses and a scary zombie, to which Eddie's aluminum bat has stuck. At the moment when Mac was crushed by a collapsed wall and eaten by a zombie, he wakes up. He asks if the lady is alive. Mac gets up and repeats the son he has already seen with a snake, zombie corpses and a big zombie, into which a copper spike bit is stuck, and her necklace is in his mouth. This time, the magician lures a large zombie into a trap under a fallen wall. Then he dies and wakes up again, believing that it was another dream. Then everything repeats again. The magician finds himself in an endless cycle of recurring dreams, each of which moves him a little further along the path of an existential nightmare, as he learns from the mistakes and blunders he made in the previous one. It turns out that a big zombie is trying to prevent Mac from going through the door in the warehouse, but this is also part of the dream. When Mac wakes up, he tells Eddie about all his follies. When they hear a zombie, they run after it with the intention of killing it, but instead discover the doors of sleep. Eddie is investigating. There is another wall behind the door, and when they try to destroy it, a zombie attacks and bites off Eddie's necklace. Mac kills the zombies and then helps Eddie. But then the zombie appears again. And Max wakes up again. In the next dream, Mac returns to the warehouse, walks through the door himself and goes down to the basement, where he finds a wounded boy and kills a zombie that appeared from the shadows. His will be Eddie, who tells him she knows he had a nightmare and screams, "Why you're not dying?" Max asks her where her necklace came from in the first place. And then Eddie wakes up. In the final sequence of dreams, Eddie hits a big zombie, walks through the door, goes down to the basement and sees an injured little boy lying on the floor. She is then attacked by a woman in the bathroom, who turns out to be Eddie's mother. So it turns out that Eddie had to kill his own mother, and since she didn't know about brain killing at the time, she just kept hitting her over and over again, screaming, "Why aren't you dying?" Matt wakes up, and we see that they have not left the clearing. When Eddie starts screaming, the magician runs to her to find her hunched over and sobbing because she killed her mother. She apologizes to Mac, saying she thought he was the one fighting her in the vision. She repeats, "God forgive me and I'm sorry. This has all been a nightmare, Maddie. That's why we went through these dreams within dreams, to explore and release Eddie's terrible memories and a terrible secret for her." Eddie and Mac are missing again. Citizen Z is rowing eggs and seems almost as boring as a dog. In the Black Hills of South Dakota, the team stumbles upon a graffiti-decorated Mount Rushmore, which makes them look like zombies, as well as a factory for the production of industrial pipes. The team meets Wilbur Grady and his daughter Amelia Grady and agrees to help them stop an unstable nuclear reactor at the Edgeman nuclear power plant. The reactor threatens to pollute the environment within a 300-mile radius when it melts down in the next 48 hours. Amelia promises to fly out with Murphy on a small plane if everything goes awry. They run through a ton of zombies, kill them, drag Wilbur into a working elevator and run away from the scene. Shortly after, Wilbur returns from the station, but his attempt to shut down the reactor was unsuccessful. He dies, becomes a zombie, and Roberta finishes him off. As the nuclear reactor is still under threat of explosion, Amelia learns that the only person who can help them is a man named Homer Stubbins, hiding in the woods. Arriving at Homer's house, where he survives, they learn that Wilbur tried to shut down the reactor by trying to cut the rope so that the nuclear rods attached to it would fall into the cooling pond. Homer says he will help and gets close to the sniper, as he reminds Homer of his son Max, who died during the apocalypse. Homer takes the sniper into the reactor and discovers that something is preventing the rods from falling, so to perform the trick they send a remote-controlled wheeled robot, Robbie, which fails when the zombies take it in their hands. Outside of the nuclear reactor, Roberta keeps order while Homer says that he will need help to get into the reactor himself and fix everything. They also need fuel for the plane to get Murphy out of the blast zone in case the reactor melts. Fortunately, Homer has a large supply of vodka at home. Roberta knows how to refit the plane to work on alcohol to get them out of the explosion zone. Murphy and Amelia are planning to fly to Wyoming, where other survivors are rumored to be. Roberta puts Murphy on the plane, fills it with alcohol and sends them on their way, but not for long. The plane crashes quickly, causing Amelia to get hit with a sharp object and turn into a zombie. Back at the edge, when they reach the reactor, the team splits up. Snipers and Homer go inside, and Doc and Cassandra go to Roberta. During the zombie attack, Homer's suit is punctured and he is exposed to radioactivity. No longer worrying about his own safety, he decides to get even closer to the radioactive pool with the help of a sniper. He is lowered to the liquid on a rope. After that, Murphy crawls out of the wreckage of the plane and, staggering, walks through the woods after the inanimate Amelia. He shows pity and tenderness for Camelia, which he has not done before. Homer and the sniper manage to shut down the reactor, after which Homer tells his young friend to kill him. The sniper can't bring himself to shoot Homer, so the old man makes it easier for him. He throws himself into the pool and dies. When the sniper exits the reactor, he is understandably upset and is comforted by document Roberta pulls up on a golf cart filled with vodka. Shortly after, Murphy comes out of the woods, followed by Amelia. Murphy stops them from killing Amelia, arguing that maybe it's time for another kind of mercy. They drive off into the sunset, leaving Amelia to wander through the woods alone.